Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Tuesday, December 27th, 2022, after 3 p.m. Eastern. We have a time for change call tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern. How do we tap into an abundance of peaceful thoughts? In truth, you are spirit. The body has been projected by the mind, which itself originates from spirit. If the wrong identification ceases, there will be no peace. There will be peace and permanent, indescribable bliss. In truth, you are spirit. The body has been projected by the mind, which itself originates from spirit. If the wrong identification ceases, there will be peace and permanent, indescribable bliss. Ramana Maharishi. The greatest discovery in this life is knowing how to be completely at peace no matter what occurs. Knowing how. This takes mastery, yet is also easy enough for a teenager to do. When we are living fully in this real 3D world, truly open, honest, and intimate with others, we will be forced into a deep discovery of peace. The secret is knowing how to be completely non-attached to whatever we find, because again, everything is an emanation of the mind. This world is real and unreal. It's like a 3D dream. An overflowing abundance of peace, love, and prosperity consciousness is inside us at the core of our being. There is no need to look outside our bodies for it. Everything on the outside is a distraction from this source. This discovery is the golden path to the ultimate life. And it is found instantly by making the simple decision to look within. Not just a glance here or there, but a constant looking and introspection that bubbles moment to moment with inquisitive curiosity. Be constantly curious about yourself, and you'll soon discover how to get beyond the traffic of your mind. When we look inside ourselves, know that there is nothing, absolutely nothing to be afraid of. All we will find are thoughts. It's all a bunch of thoughts. Everything we experience is made up of thoughts. The only reason we suffer, ever, is because we forget these thoughts are not real. When we get attached to them, they seem real, yet are not. Attach only to what's real, and all suffering fades away. It is good to remember that this thought we're thinking right now is merely an electrical impulse bursting in between our ears. Now it's gone, and a new one has arrived. It is a constant, continual flow. When we try to hold on to any one of these bursts, it's like forcing ourselves to hold our fingers on an electric fence. Simply let go and look towards where the source of energy is, where all these thoughts are coming from. Only from discovering the roots can we understand the tree. If and when we want to take the super fast track to deep inner peace, you can try this out. Stop doing everything how you normally do it and simply practice. Right? Stop doing everything how you normally do it and simply practice letting everything be as it is. As we're doing what we normally do. Let everything be as it is as we're doing what we normally do. This will help us to look with gentle eyes on ourselves, the world, and everyone in it. Be quick to accept yourself and others, and be very slow to criticize. Try to understand others instead of needing them to understand you. Let go of having to be right and choose instead to be free. Practice just what you've read from what I have shared, and you'll feel the dramatic change begin to occur. Love and centering are one phenomenon. They are not two. If you have known love, you cannot be anything but centered. The very experience of love will make you centered, Osho. When we go on this inner quest, looking deep inside ourselves, choose to be wild, free, and unguarded. This is the only way we will be able to unravel ourselves. See what is truly beneath your socialized condition, your socialized conditioning. Don't stop at the mental chatter your mind regurgitates. Conditioning from childhood is deep and has created many contractions inside the body that we are unaware of. This unawareness is what perpetuates the flow of negative, challenging thoughts and feelings. The only way to freedom is to bring total awareness to these hidden parts. The best way to find our hidden, contracted parts is to engage deeply in every relationship we have, especially the ones we are the most afraid of. Be deeply intimate with everyone. This is the only way we can intimately know ourselves and discover all our hidden parts. Once we get to know ourselves, we will feel this ever-flowing current of stillness at our very core. This stillness arises from doing nothing. Focus on nothing as much as you can. This life is not about accomplishing anything. It's about discovering our very enlightened nature, which is something we already are. How can we accomplish something we already are? Now we can understand why so many spiritual seekers easily get confused. Only when we can be intimately open and unguarded with everyone will we find total peace within. It really isn't hard to do. It's actually quite fun. Yet first, we must truly dive into this core essence of ourselves through the muck in our minds, into the vast, deep presence. Only from this space will we find peace with everything and everyone in this world. This experience is always available if we are open, willing, and available to this universe. That's why practicing being unguarded is so profound. It allows us to intimately touch the entire creation. Life-changing peace happens instantly when we realize again and again and again that our eternal being, we are literally eternal beings that cannot die. An infinite soul who is ever presently aware and lives behind this roller coaster ride of thoughts rolling through your mind, whatever your mind is thinking about, thinks is vastly important, is constantly worrying about, is simply not worth getting caught up in. This eternal being inside us is much bigger and better than any thought or experience we will ever have. Focus on that. Because what we focus on energizes, grows, and expands. What are we afraid of? Deep, everlasting peace happens when we can approach our fears with an authentic smile. When we can look each fear in the face and say, thank you, with love in your heart. You've mastered it. When we can look each fear in the face and say, thank you, with love in your heart, you've mastered it. Take on each fear as if it was your long-lost brother who has strayed from home. Simply point it back to the light of your being, where pure stillness resides. And this contracted, non-relaxed state will dissolve in time. So for the next 24 hours from now, remember that you are inherently good. There is nothing bad, wrong, or evil about you. The next 24 hours from now, remember that you are inherently good. There is nothing bad, wrong, or evil about you. Your thoughts are not a reflection of who you are. Passing clouds cannot change the vastness of the sky. Turn your attention inside towards your natural state of goodness. This is not something you're good at or something you did that was good. If you can write it down, it can disappear, so it does count. This goodness is this eternal consciousness that abides in the eternal gap between our thoughts. Remember, this goodness that we naturally are is permanent. This goodness that we naturally are is permanent. There's nothing we can do about it. Our purpose is to discover it, respect it, honor it, and share it so that we can know it. Knowing our inherent permanent goodness brings about an unstoppable joy. Experiencing this joy brings a taste of total freedom. Knowing ourselves as this unbounded joy-filled freedom is the gateway to bliss and absolute inner peace. And we can have fun with it. It's all about us. We enter these lives, and isn't it interesting that it's all about us discovering what's inside these bodies? Now we're sidetracked, of course, because as babies we're like open vessels. We have no heart guards right? We have no fears. We have no judgments. We don't have any of that. Do you see what happens? And it's kind of like in a reversal. When we're programmed, these are thoughts. These are other people's thoughts. And we create lives. Our lives are created by programming, by other people's thoughts. These thoughts are programmed. So who you think you are is an illusion created by the mind. Every program that had anything to do, these are all thoughts, remember, of forming your perspective, attitude, personality, character, which are all illusions. Isn't that amazing? You have no, you're like an open vessel. You don't have any understanding of who and what you are. You're an open vessel. You're a God in that body. And in that beginning, you have no clue. You kind of, most of us never discover that. We go on being programmed by other people's thoughts. And the majority of the thoughts we think are ours are not. So our adventure, when we enter these bodies, is to discover or rediscover who and what we really are. We can have our own thoughts. We can watch them. We can choose to embrace them or let them float by. Like, how do you know what kind of life you want to live? Unless other programs tell you the life you want to live, which is connected to other people's thoughts. What is it that we all seek? Do we know? Peace, happiness, bliss, joy, fun. We all seek that. We seek it, in most cases, outside of ourselves. Isn't that true? And we learn, this is when we start asking ourselves, there's got to be more than this. Is this all there is to it? I mean, it really, is this all there is to it? Have you ever asked yourself that? Is this all that life's about? That's when we get too seduced into the mind. One might say, what is the simplest way to discovering the God within? By leaving the mind alone. How do you leave the mind alone? By focusing on the breath and the now. Now, I'm not saying that it's real easy to do that because we're so programmed and the ego mind is constantly pulling us, telling us what to do, telling us how to respond. And when it works on a continual basis, so when we go into the now, we float out, we float out. But that's okay. And we float back in. We focus on our breath, we float back into the now. We suffer when we follow the ego mind into the yesterday or tomorrow, the past or the future. And this is where most of us live. It's where most of us live. Seems simple, doesn't it? Well, you say to yourself, well, I know this. Why do I keep floating out? Well, it's like any habit that we practice. We practice the habit over and over again, and it's automatic. It guides us right back to where we feel the most comfortable, which is the illusion. And you can say, well, I know this. I know it's an illusion. But why do I focus so much of my attention on it? And the biggest, most impactful understanding for us is, it isn't real. That's a toughie. We say to ourselves, how come this is real? This is real. Seems real, right? But when you get so focused on the material physical world out there, outside of yourself, that's what we're used to following. And here's the only thing that is absolutely real in all of this is the God that you are in that body. You have the soul. The God is wrapped in the soul. That's the only real thing, period. You can begin to understand why for so many of us it is so challenging to maneuver this illusion we call life. Even though we can touch and we can feel and we can see everything, smell everything. How is that created? It's got to be created, right? Why is it so appealing to these body's senses? Okay? So you can see how we get so seduced into this illusion we call life. We immerse into it. We lose ourselves in the life. We completely lose ourselves. We forget about our spirituality. We forget about we are the God within the body and not the body. The body is an illusion. All of this has been created by the gods that we are. All of it. There isn't anything that hasn't been created by the gods that we are in these bodies. See, we've been taught by programming, by other people's thoughts, right? That everything that surrounds us, trees, animals, everything, are real. And it feels real. You've had dreams, right? Where it feels real. And it's all an illusion. It keeps us entertained, keeps us challenged, and it keeps us on constant discovery. We're on a constant discovery and constant creation. And the interesting thing is, we don't know it. People have said, well, how could I have a happy, healthy, wonderful life when everything else out there is in such disarray? Pretty simple. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want, and you'll have it. Unfortunately, yeah, a lot of us will focus on what we want, but a lot of the times we're focusing also on what we don't want. One would say I want to have a lot of money, but buku money, just endless, mounds and mounds and mounds of money. Then the ego mind kicks in and starts telling them, what are you going to do with that? How are you going to stop people from stealing it? You won't have any freedom in your life. You'll have to buckle everything down. You see how it works? That's we're focusing on what we don't want. At the same time, we're focusing on what we want. So it's a catch-22. It's a stalemate. The universe doesn't send it, right? Then we begin more and more to focus on what we don't want. This is what this whole journey, endless journey, is about. Why would we focus on things we don't want? It's a habit. It's not a bad thing. It's just what we do. What motivates us to do that? Well, fear. So we have the fear, which is self-perpetuating, draws us more and more and more into more fear, more fear, more fear. And for all of us, it is discovery. We choose, right? Even so many of us in these comfort zone, right? That we build for ourselves. And we really don't like it to be disturbed. As a matter of fact, you can say to yourself, okay, my heart mind is telling me to step outside of my comfort zone. And that's where you get insecure. Ego mind, right? Insecure. You don't know because it's an unknown. Everything we do in the beginning really is an unknown. Unless we've done it numerous times before and we have memory of it, then that's a different case. So you can really, gauge where you're at any moment, and you ask this question of yourself: am I in the spiritual existence, watching the body in this life, or am I in the physical existence, watching the illusion, experiencing the illusion? Now, fear teaches us many things when we're willing to embrace it. It causes us to focus on things to understand what the heck is motivating this energy and causing me to fear. You'll have moments where you'll know you're not the body. It comes in. And you drop all, there's no fear. There's no anxiety, there's no stress, there's no worry. You fall into that. And that's the true reality. The gods that we are in these bodies are supreme reality. And when we really do embrace through our heart minds that we are constantly, every one of us, in different ways, different flavors, taking energy, which is everything, which is us, the gods that we are, and you imagine that this entire universe, that all the universes at all levels are all energy that have taken on certain form, right? And we take energy, we move it into form. And it doesn't mean that we are aware of this, because we've done it for hundreds of thousands of years, millions of years. And we're not talking about we're talking about the gods that we are. So we take energy and we move it into form. And we create it into reality, and we experience it. You see, we're experiencing God, infinity and beyond. That's what we're doing. We're experiencing God, pure consciousness, the divine, the source. We're experiencing it in this very moment. Now we have these shifts because the ego mind, which is an illusion, and then we go over here, we go over there. We're influenced by certain things, aren't we? While we're in these bodies. We're moved in certain directions. Have you ever been in a situation where you thought that you shouldn't have made the decision that you made, but you're going to follow through with it anyway, right? Ego mind comes in and says, Alan, you shouldn't have made that decision, What if this, what if that, what if this? And then you embrace the decision that you made and you follow through with it, and it comes out most of the time to be absolutely phenomenal. And it is always teaching us. The teaching steps that we go through continually prepare us for the God discovery that's in this body. So it's almost like we get in the body and we don't remember anything, right? That's true. We don't remember anything. So we start over from scratch. Now we can't pull on past lives or future lives, can we? Really can't. We don't know we've had them, but we have. Now, when we get to a certain comprehension, a certain awareness, the vast knowledge that has been experienced throughout existence and beyond is everywhere. It's in all species, all civilizations, all planetary, all star systems, all universes, all galaxies. All that. And all of us gods in different physical forms experiencing that in different directions, different ways, different times, different reasons. So it's like this vast ocean of knowledge, right? And experience, that when we get to the understanding, clearness, that we're the God in the body, and we're having a physical experience, And the reality is that we are the God. Omnipotently, supremely powerful beings who never die. This is going to become more apparent with this civilization. And that you'll be able to tap into all of it whenever you choose. That's everything. Because believe it or not, everybody's experiencing things, right? Yes, right at this very moment. We're all experiencing things, many different directions, all over existence and beyond. So that means all of us are experiencing all of it. Somebody you know, maybe not know, okay? Maybe just an acquaintance, 7,000 miles away. You feel them, they feel you. Some of you might remember when the Twin Towers came down, right? Did you feel the sink in your stomach? Did you feel the remorse in your heart? Did it have an energy that we all felt? It's like in Star Wars, many statements. One of them, a disturbance in the Force. What does that mean? It means that anywhere, any time in existence and beyond. Say that a planet blows up, a civilization goes extinct, a cataclysm happens somewhere in the universes, we are going to feel it. These are not things that, oh, yeah, we have a movie screen and we can see everything. Oh, yes, I'm feeling this because of this. No, it's because we're all one. We're one existence, right? Experiencing many. What Jane, Bob, Bill, and Joyce does, right, in their lives, sends ripples out in the force, the God. You focus on something that you would like to have move it, right? Move it. Do you move the weight, or do you eliminate the force that's keeping whatever it is you want to move heavy and pinned to the ground? You eliminate the atmospheric force around the object, then you can move the object with ease. There are starships in this very now moment where the civilization operates those starships through the God they are within the body, not the body. They use the body to be able to touch things, move things, but the life force is what powers the starship. The chi, the prana, the God, the key. And the life force that we all are is very far-reaching and is endless. More and more of us are discovering the more I focus, more the God that I am, more I focus on the things I do want. And the more I don't focus on the things I don't want, the things I do want materialize. And miracle, right? We've heard that word a lot. Miracle, when you say a miracle has happened, that's when people are conscious with the gods they are in the body. Miracles are happening every day because more and more people are comprehending and coming into awareness that they are gods. And the edge, right, of the coin, which is the third side of the coin, to stay on the edge, in the middle. So that we don't care to step into the ego mind. We have all had ego mind super training for hundreds of thousands of years. And we know, right, when the ego mind is the master, what do we have on the planet? Not just this planet, but there's been many we have inhabited some form of physical to experience. But we know what happens, right? War, hatred, anger, greed, deception, manipulation, pure evil, demons. That's when we immerse ourselves in the ego mind. That's a real positive thing, to have that awareness. It's not judgment on ourselves. It's an awareness. And only we, each of us, can shift that energy. Our God energy, we can shift it. We can shift it into what we do want. And then we discipline ourselves because our vibrational frequency that we send out, when people say they don't want, they're going to get it. When people say they don't care to have that, or they don't care to interact with that, they won't. How many of us are in the habit of saying, how many people say they don't want something? They don't want this to happen. They don't want that to happen, you know? And when you focus, it's a difference. See, when you just randomly put that out there, it doesn't always, very rarely does it really happen. But when you focus on it, and it becomes a fear, you focus on it, right? It will materialize for you. How many times have you wished for something? You know, you say, I wish this, I wish that. I wish this would happen, or I wish that would happen, right? Tell the universe exactly what it is you want. Embrace it, and let it go. The only reason you let it go and surrender to it is because of the fact that you have great confidence, trust, and faith in yourself and the universe. It isn't even, it's a no-brainer. And also on top of it, to have the patience for whenever it occurs. To have the patience for whenever it occurs. That's the one right there, see. Because the ego mind kicks in when we intend something, right? And we want something. And then we focus on that and we put it out to the universe. And time goes by and by and by. Now, either we forget about it because of our confidence, faith, and trust, or it keeps seeping in and we keep obsessing over it. Why isn't this happening? I don't understand why it's not happening. Why isn't this happening? And then you slowly but surely start to understand it's me. The reason things happen in our lives is because of us. Nothing else. Turmoil on the planet, turmoil in our country. All of we're super powerful beings. And when we don't know that, but we have that energy forming and creating and manifesting. We create it. And we experience it. There are those who are on a hamster wheel. And they believe they're getting somewhere. Self-discovery, whatever. Then there are those who discovered that the hamster wheel, when they looked down, the ground wasn't moving, just the wheel was. And then they noticed that the wheel wasn't moving, it wasn't going anywhere, it wasn't moving forward, it was just going in circles. And this is through our curiosity that many discover this. And then they choose to say to themselves, I no longer care to be in this rat race. I no longer care to be burning the rubber 24/7 to get to the top. I'm going to slow my life down, maybe to half pitch, and I'm going to enjoy every drop of it. And see, it doesn't matter really what the events are. You enjoy it because you have the body, and you can experience the physicality of which you've created for yourself. This is why we focus so much on inside of us in these global guided meditations. And in the silent time, the reason that we talk about all of this, and it is to understand it and then to embrace it in the quiet time by listening to the God that you are within that body and doing nothing else. Not judging yourself, not being hard on yourself, being literally loving, kind, generous, and humble with yourself. And always in deep gratitude. See, when we get in the habit of focusing on those things, that's where the true joy is. When we finally realize that we don't care to focus on the doom and the gloom and the destruction and, the sky is falling mentality, we change things. We change them in a blink, a flash. And we know we change them. There's very, very, very few, and those are the corrupted ones, right? That focus on the low frequencies, the destruction, the pain, the sorrow, the anguish, the frustration, the worry, the fear. And you can actually feel, and in the quiet time of this meditation, you listen to the heart, to the soul, and the God that's wrapped in the soul, within that body. And you literally can feel the light force massively expanding on this planet. And see, we use light and dark as a visual perspective, but it isn't really that way. When we talk about dark and light, we talk about those are frequencies. Higher the frequency, the more light is there. Lower frequency, the more dark is there. So as we increase our frequency, which is the light, and we move way far from the low frequencies, what do we have? We have the makings of a fifth density, 5-dimensional new Earth, and eventually a God planet paradise. What we do as the gods in these bodies right now with this planet transformation, civilization transformation, ascension, what we do right now will affect the entire fabric of existence and beyond. That's how impactful it is. We will affect the entire fabric of existence and beyond pure consciousness. This will undulate continuously, wave after wave, throughout this galaxy, into this universe, and beyond. The more we can show the other parts of the gods that we are throughout the great expanse, the more they will start to do the same thing. Accelerate the light force energy frequency by deciding to and advancing it way beyond anything that we have ever in any lifetime done before. Feel it, because it's becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. And the deep eternal love is expanding rapidly. I'll join you in meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Be still. This universe has a plan for you. It is divine. It is magnificent. It is your soul's plan as well. Would you like to know it? It will be fully revealed to you the moment you let go of everything in your life and experience your true self in each moment as unbounded and infinite. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here December 28th, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call, 9 p.m. Eastern to continue our time for change call. And tomorrow night's going to be filled with a lot of spectacular, magna-glorious, stupendous information. Be good to yourself at all times, no matter what's going on around out there in the illusion.